Hello and welcome to Lakeland Community College. Today we will be interviewing a couple guys in a band. My name is Brett Coleman and today we'll be interviewing Kevin Beebe and Aaron Thompson. Hello.
How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Thank you for having us.
No problem. So let's get right into the show. So tell us a little bit about your band, Kevin.
Our band, his name is Life Saving Decision. It's a Christian rap ministry band. It was actually formed about 5 or 6 years ago, and we've just been, touring during the summers and doing shows and having some good things happening. So
That's interesting.
yeah.
So do you guys have any albums out or anything like that?
We have one official album. It's called Get Real. We did have a sophomore release called Spiritual Warfare, but we were going through group changes and there was different members, including different artists on the CD. So our Get Real album was our first official released album.
Okay, official as in you two.
Us two.
So how did you two get together?
Well, I knew this guy from a long time ago. I'd probably say 6 years ago or so. I was just a reckless teenager, living life the way I wanted to, doing drugs, drinking, just partying. And I met him along the way, and we were friends back then. And that's how I originally, met him.
Through the party scene.
Yeah.
Okay. So where do you record, or how do you get your recordings done?
Well, we got a studio now. We call it Break Free Productions. We've through the years acquired a lot of studio equipment, Tascam, all the perks that you need, to make a great sounding album. Just because you have good equipment doesn't mean you can sound good on it. So we've through the years, constantly perfecting our skill and getting better. So it's all done at our home studio.
That's interesting. Do you guys just record yourselves, or do you record other people as well?
Actually, we also record another artist from Ohio. His name is Stevie J. But we have a couple of artists that we work with locally. It's mostly like hip-hop, digitally produced music. We don't work with a lot of bands yet. But we basically work with artists that are concerned with spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ. They're concerned with ministry and making a difference in the world. That's who we like to work with. So.
Okay. That's the basis that your Break Free studio is founded upon?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
That was a yes or no question.
Yeah,
We're not really supposed to ask those as hosts of talk shows, but
it happens.
It happens. So, tell us about being on the road. What's that like?
It is an adventure all in itself. Just being friends, and being in a band, it's we've learned to separate, what happens in our personal lives to when we're doing shows and doing the group, because there's always going to be the frustration and the difference in attitudes and characters, that we are. It's just a fact, like that for everyone. So, we just, it's I have no clue.
It's pretty rough sometimes. I mean, you would think that we're pretty much best friends, but that doesn't mean that you never disagree, and we have a tendency to both get on each other's nerves sometimes, but we're able to get through it because we know what we're doing when we're out on the road, and we know that it's for a greater cause than just music or anything like that. So.
Okay. So tell me about what other things are you involved in? I mean, is it just music, or do you do other things too?
Well, the bigger vision for what we do is to really help other artists in the future. Like I said, artists that are serious about the gospel and the message that we bring through our music. God's changed our lives so much, and the bigger mission of that is just to tell other people about it and to share our testimonies. And if we can do that through music, great. But if we can do that through video, if we can do that through any other method, we're open to expanding and looking at all those options in the future.
Okay. Have you ever done anything with video besides being on my talk show?
Actually, the only time we've ever really done a big project was through Esoteric Cinema, and they offered to do our music videos for like a budget price, you know, because they just want to get out there and get their name out as well as ours. So, you know, what better way to do that than to both help each other out. So they did our first music video to Shining, which was an unreleased single, and then our most recent one, Ease Your Pain, which was just our favorite so far. So
They sound like pretty smart dudes.
they did an awesome job,
They're
for
very
sure,
Cool.
without a doubt. So
So, you know, when you walked in here, I noticed you guys had a camera with you. What's all that about?
Actually, that's something that's really exciting. You know, you asked us what it's like on the road.
Mm-hmm.
That's the question we get a lot, and a lot of people, you know, don't really know what we do and stuff. So we're actually filming a reality show in HD. You know, we're just bought an HD camera. We're just going to constantly roll footage when we're on the road, touring, whatever we're doing, and that will really give people a our perspective of what it's like, with what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that's really exciting that we're doing.
So, tell me a little bit about yourselves. You know, where did you grow up, that sort of thing?
Okay. I grew up in Andover by the lake. I have one sister. She's older than me, and she's been a big help in me growing up as far as, you know, keeping me in line, helping my parents keep me in line, because I was a little troublemaker, always getting off into mischief. Grew up in a Christian home, went to a Christian school, and before we moved to Jefferson, which is now where we live both, they took me out of school and put me in homeschool, and that's where I, you know, did most of my years, and then I went into 7th grade high school, and my life completely changed because I was like in a whole new world. It was, of course, public school. It wasn't my Christian environment, so I was introduced to just everything that I was not adapted to yet, you know. And ultimately, that's how I met this dude, you know.
That's interesting.
It's
Interesting how that
Andover
works
is
out.
not the most interesting place,
No.
but it definitely adds character.
Yeah. So, how about you?
I was born in Conneaut, Ohio, but I grew up a little bit in Jefferson. But me and my mom moved all over as a kid. I was the troublemaker in school, you know, always getting expelled, always getting suspensions. You know, it all started back in 1989. There was a tragic event in my life. I was 5 years old. My father was out partying and doing the alternative lifestyle kind of thing, and he ended up committing suicide. And you know, ever since that day, it was like I just kind of didn't have any respect for authority or anything. And when I got to high school, I just completely rebelled. Like I said, with the drugs, just anything I could do that was just wild and crazy. And that basically landed me in a jail cell, facing 7.5 years in prison. And that's when I realized that my way is not working anymore, you know. And I called out to Jesus Christ, and that's when my life was completely transformed. I mean, I got out of there, and the drugs were gone. You know, everything was changed. My heart was changed. And that's really what we're about, is spreading that message to other people.
Okay. So, what kind of places have you toured at? You know, I mean, obviously locally, but have you ever gone, you know, anywhere farther out?
We've been to Kansas City, Missouri, Indiana, PA, dang.
All over Ohio, of course, like all over the state of Ohio.
And you tour with Stevie J?
Yep.
Yeah, we tour with Stevie.
Okay.
Yeah, which is interesting. It's fun.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Okay.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so
This
much.
has been the Lakeland Show. I am Brett Coleman, and we'll see you next time.
I think it went pretty good.
With questions wherever I could. Where'd you grow up?
So tell me about yourself.
Actually, man, I have no clue.
I told you you were in a Christian rock band. I would have stopped asking you the questions about
Oh,
drinking.
no, we figured you'd find out soon.
There, Phil.